So, as I was trying to get to some channeled guidance, we'll just begin with it. And I want to start with the part about where's my card. This is how I do it here for now. Eventually, I might set up something, but since we chit chatted about the basics of you being yourself involves you being able to be emotionally and mentally your own adult. If you do not have your inner child as the adult of you yet, then that's first therapy, and then you come and do self help. And the spirituality journey begins when you do know that life is that meaning and connection beyond the soul self. Okay, so divine feminine, we recognize pure love when we meet it. And we actively are grounded thanks to sciences, because sciences shares with us the knowledge. There is no evil in the way of those biblical and philosophical texts, except for the textbooks that people who are flat earthers, there are a lot of other things. They're uneducated in the book of any human being who will have learned in the 2024 year about attachment and trauma. So we don't romanticize or demonize, meaning you either become self-aware, accountable, and then you regulate. I don't need to give you a prize for it. Anytime I'm seeing Elsa Journey mantles, I know who they are. That's not where we're at here. Here it's your inner and outer well-being. Are you actively achieving self-awareness, accountability, regulation skills, which are a consistency? It's why spirituality, thank you, Sadhguru, it's not a career, it's a lifestyle. The lifestyle is you can keep moving to resiliency and integration of the brain. You don't have to. There's a Zen master for laundry if you want, and a plenty buttload of other people who give you ways to stay in the middle. I'm not laughing because it's funny. So there's no evil, there's unresolved trauma for those people, the people who don't want to get healing, as you heard in one of our stories. So what instead, those who do, once they get healing through good therapy, then they have self-awareness, accountability, regulation skills, and they want to keep developing those to move more and more out of the adaptive child or maladaptive child behaviors that are of shame and fear. Those involve addictive patterns. So the man who talked about a man fucking a woman and 1 second after feeling contempt and disgust towards a woman and shame, that human being, man, as well as any man or woman might they be, and I've met them in college, they all could use good therapy. They all don't want to. The ones that I have consistently met who whine about life, they did not learn to self-regulate. So there's a Zen master who can tell you all about how laundry works. I'm going to say nothing. I'm going to be a pacha who says nothing, because you are actively choosing, like the avoidant attachment lady on YouTube who says, everyone's fucked up. I'm not going to keep doing mindfulness or therapy or any journaling because everybody's fucked up. The lame ass excuse for a knowledgeable human being who says, you don't want to do emotions? I mean, wow, you need it more than I do because I'm securely attached. You have avoidant. That means that you are suffering every day of your life and that you don't know how to actively self-regulate because your first-year-old didn't learn it. It's not a Lucifer that I need to blame, these words, the way that people are labeling new age Luciferian. Wow. Like that, just anytime I'm meeting any mystic, it just blows my mind away, because the minute I became a mystic, I knew of that energetic imprint. And now I know that the Holy Spirit and spiritual gifts, they're all one and the same. Clairvoyance, clairaudience, all your clairs are explainable by sciences. Sciences keep a divine feminine expanding. Not only does the sciences help a person who's a divine feminine to have answers to active intuitive hits that we already will have had. So I'll get to storytelling in a minute. Again, the people who go and get healed and then they become aware, accountable, and regulate, they move out of the adaptive child or maladaptive child behaviors, and then they move out of shame, and they have a love button here, no more shame button, because they see and they soothe and they can safely and securely be their self, the authentic self. So they move to functional adult. Inner child adult is how we call it here. And that is where they have self-worth and are love-based. And I'm noticing that I need to fix something after. Okay, so with that, this lovely darkness, my old friend, I've come to talk to you again. So yeah, that song in and of itself shows us how people don't know how to talk to each other. But the two opposing energies, we have dark matter, dark energy, And we have what a divine feminine will know. I have my own divine feminine, then my divine masculine. But when it comes to positive and negative charges, this is part of that true spirituality journey that I can tell you as a person to another person, involves you getting all your child parts, all your ducks in a row, and then becoming the grown-up version of you. So you can connect to eternity from within you. Let yourself be held by love. That's when all of you. So you become aware. You listen to the wisdom of the body. That's your body. That's your divine feminine. Now you don't listen to it with a story that is in a divisiveness. Let me grab some more. 1 second. So what that means, mindfulness, mindset. Okay, so when those emotions come up, they are a reflection of something that is yours. When you're interacting with others, the responsibility is for you to be able, and if you want, choose to chit chat with other people and to deal with uncertainties, unexpected and unwanted from within you while going with the flow. That means you use your prefrontal cortex. So you are tuning 100% mindfulness. Again, mindful listening, mindful talking, all this. So just use your name, and you're becoming aware of thoughts and emotions. That's not irrefutable facts. Anytime you're interacting with another human being, it's called differentiation. So you have a solo self with a narrative self, a relational self, your core self, your whole, if you know how to self-regulate. And that's what we do here. We are already self-regulating human beings. Otherwise, if you don't know how to, you first do that therapy, expand your window of tolerance, and then you continue to do it. Not talking about you wanting to be rewarded for golden stars because of doing emotions. The ones who want rewards for doing emotions, it makes me think of my time when I was in my limbic system with those lovely quotes that I loved. I used to love action movies. I still love them. I say used to because when I watch them now, I'm aware of how many people actively stayed in those energies. So I'll still watch, but while I'm watching, I'm enjoying the action movie, Me, Maria. I'm thinking of all human beings who actively just act like they should get rewarded for having done emotions because they didn't learn how to get out of their limbic system and use their prefrontal cortex, you see? So there's a way that your brain works from 12 to 24, the adolescent brain. Then by 24, and for women it's 25, biological, the physical kind, and then the physical, biological men, so the brain of those body types. 25 executive decision making function areas for the woman brain are finally fully developed, and 27 the man. Okay, so that skull thingy, and that's where your perception and perspective, all of that keeps on changing, which is why the scientists people say you all change, not some of us. The divine feminine here tells you I'm more of myself than I've ever been before. But if somebody wants to take every year of my life, of course they're going to say, you changed. It's like Friends, right? Or any of those sitcoms. When you see every year, they change their hair, they change that. Okay, so I feel the same as the first time I can remember saying my name because the essence of me is consistently Prakriti, Purusha. Prakriti, pure energy. Purusha, pure consciousness. That's what it means to be a divine feminine, and that one feminine, which we are all a part of. If you are in touch with oneness, then you will know why sciences keeps the feminine grounded. And it explains two things that you know here, and that those who think they're feminines because they're clairs, they do not. So when human beings that think they're feminines, they accuse other people of being energy vampires, dark auras, of the earth spitting out demons because humans are doing something bad, of New Age being Luciferian or whatever. So anytime I'm hearing anyone criticize in a way of, I'm going to point a finger, cast a stone, and tell you, you are that which I do not like. It's really, anytime I hear evil, it's, I don't like it, I don't like it. And I have a Michael Stone scale, so they all end up in prison. And they're all surrounded by therapists, all of the evil ones. Plus, I already told God about that when I figured it out without all the attachment trauma stuff. I said, hey, God, I know what I'm here to do. You told me about it. I don't know what these people are doing anymore, but I know that I'm not following their footsteps. They're not doing anything that is actively helping the world. They keep money instead of giving it away. They actively discriminate people. They hurt human beings without taking responsibility. They hide them. They hide behind your name. They're actively grandiosity, 7 to 14, charming, and they pull the wool over the eyes of other human beings who need to be educated, but they lack the education, and they believe human beings who use their mouths to say lack of imagination with evil. They actively go and cheer people on who are spreading rumors about yoga, actively supporting human beings who continue to perpetuate stories of divisiveness versus the sciences, which shows that there is human goodness and kindness inside everybody, except for if you don't get home to your 1-year-old, well, we got a dilemma. No, it ain't a dilemma. We actively know how to help. That's the people who want to help. So we help. We help people to know. I'm not going to romanticize or demonize. I'm not going to be a martyr, superior, blamer, but I will share educational information. So self-soothing and then you can be here if you put your best foot 2 feet and hands forward, and then you do prefrontal cortex versus I want to medal because I forgave that person who treated me like a piece of shit. I don't want to be with those. So feminine here again. When I got my clairs, I knew one thing. I'm not anointed. I'm not more special. It's part of my human makeup. My panic attacks, my energy body expansion, everything that took place within my spirituality awakening journey, which your twin flames don't do. The only ones who need to be awakened are the actual masculine. So yes, actively, let me rephrase. Those who are not divine feminines for real, they need a twin flame or twin flames or a special connection to awaken themselves to become more of an emotionally, potentially loving person. And I said potentially because they like the show yourself, I'm dying to meet you, and being on an Elsa journey with a mantle. So I consistently see posts go viral that tells me that teenagers are still following those who are popular in high schools who were not popular in my eyes. I just wondered, why are they saying they stand out? They all look alike and they're not doing anything different. And then they do stupid things. Then I got to college. I said, they do stupid things too. Then I got to grow up. They're doing stupid things as well. And then I kept growing up, and they said, you're the one who doesn't know how life works. Really? I'm going to say Pinocchio on that island is turning into a donkey slowly. And then we got donkeys and Pinocchio. And, well, I'm going to not be Pinocchio at all. I'm actively not even Pacha. My name's Maria, but if I really must choose a character, it's going to be Pacha, because Pacha has a mature and more than just one way of living life. He keeps his promise, which is what you teach children about, to keep promises, to hold your heart body and value body. God taught me this, and so did Jesus. So the only ones who I noticed turned their back on everything that I got taught as a kid are the same people who still talk to me. Humans are evil, Maria. No, they all have need of therapists for the ones who are. That's it. And the 7 to 14 are the biggest pain. No, they're not a pain in my butt because I know I don't affect states of consciousness. So divine feminine knows that we are responsible for ourselves, and then the people who want to be in the human love, come on over. So with great power comes great responsibility. My responsibility is to tell you, you can be beautiful self, you, and 5D mystic divine feminines know. So when I have had people in general, like readers, this is just in general, okay? I'm not going to get specific at times, but I'm going to share experiences. So one, look back on your childhood, and then remember, you don't have to go it alone. So if you don't know what love is, meaning that it's easy, that you can be accepted with all your flaws, and that you can maintain integrity because you're part of society, okay? If you don't know how to know healthy self-worth, then you didn't get as lucky. Let me share with you what it means. It means that, like Jesus taught me, I turn the other cheek, not I bow down to you. It means I treat you like a decent human being independently from how your manners are. Because I won't be lecturing you, because I ain't your mama, papa, I ain't nobody. I'm a human being who randomly will be able to know that you don't know how to keep yourself in not check. You're not a little soldier. No, you're actively a human being who can learn of softness, which is the most amazing of emotions, when you are empowered to be what is called a decent human being in your emotional maturity. People miss out because they don't ever get here. They just begin to be on a little Elsa journey. At least so far, what I've seen online is all these people cheering me on. Let me cheer you on as you fall down and get back up and keep on telling me the same fall. You used to fall the same. Oh, people who don't get unstuck. Okay, so when people are in the illusion of that, which is a default mode network, that is a 1-year-old that doesn't have secure attachment, if they don't learn to do their self in a way that is of the restorative embodiment. self-aware, accountable, regulating, they don't know bliss yet or delight. They will know of what is a modulated embodied self experience. You can go look it up, but it basically is a default mode network that lives on a gut that doesn't know what healthy self-worth is yet. Because if you don't know how love, I don't need to keep you on a string. You will want to be there with me. But you also want to remember that awareness, again, is maximum uncertainty. And if you didn't heal that childhood trauma stuff, then you won't know how to sit in uncertainty and enjoy it. In fact, childhood trauma survivors who don't go to good therapy, like our lovely Patrick Tiahan points out, confusion is how they feel safe, and they will tend to date people who have low self-esteem, indirect communicative mechanisms, and porous boundaries. Until you go and get yourself in a very real room, you won't know love. So this is actually something malessere, and I'm trying to think in English, malaise, but we'll just use the maladaptive child behavior. There's nothing fun about having a mind that is in inner conflict, outer conflict, the shame cycle, because it's all people who live like in the movies. And no, that's not where the 5D is at. The 5D is at healing this. You heal this by, again, becoming balanced. So moderation is key, and it begins with self-acceptance. You're not a victim of life. You're not a victim of anyone. You don't have to be excessive. And the way you'll know this is that you wake up more energized. So as long as you're not waking up more energized, that's what therapy's for. It gets you to then have a relationship with your nervous system, and then you won't be in these energies. You will be able to get out of what is, for a person such as myself, a whining story. I did everything for everyone, and it looks like they actively don't ever get past that. So that's a closed-minded person who sticks their hand in like a 16-year-old saying, I did everything for someone, and I'm better than somebody. It's not the words. Here. Okay, so I'll use an example in a minute. I can use myself because I definitely remember having contemplative moments, but my way of working with the brain is the inner growth mindset. So my mind, which is my divine masculine, my body, divine feminine, then I call this one the masculine. It's the verbal part, chit chatter, the left mode, and the feminine, the right mode, which is the one that's online the first year of life alone. Then the left mode comes online by year 2 or 3 years of age. I forget which one. And everything that comes up, you can be mindfully aware, and that's what I have always been. I just didn't know how to use words. No, I didn't have those words. I don't like using fancy words, but mindfulness is you being aware of yourself. So it's focused attention. I know everything that's going on always in my body and everywhere. And then the awareness is where you're dealing with uncertainty, the maximum of it. So it's like, oh, look, my body, energy's moving in it. And then we want intention. Now, kind is important because it allows your body to know it's safe. I don't need kindness. I use neutrality, because if I'm thinking happy thoughts and not happy thoughts, I'm going to not want to be neutral in that moment. Or kind, neutrality is what I'm going to want to be. It's the Jacob. I want to be objective. I'm going to say, okay, yep, there's a negative charge. Yep, there's a positive charge. Yep, there's uncertainty. Yep, I don't like it. Yep, I'm a grown up with it, though. I'm in my prefrontal cortex. Here it is. Not hard to do. Not at all. Doesn't send me in any spiraling. No, that's called rumination, and that's a temporal junction. And people who don't put into practice what I just said, I don't want to do for the mountain, I want life now. So you can do that and go to Zen Master, or you can understand every day spirituality. It's not a career. It's a lifestyle, but it's not boring like I've seen some people with their enlightenment soul age. They're like, they're like a flat line. There's a left motor who, seriously, your inner child, there's no way it's alive because there's no child. I don't see you smiling. What the fuck? You're looking like life's just so boring. I'm so excited. Tomorrow I get to wake up. What am I going to learn? What am I going to learn? Who am I going to be with? And that is actively how I feel. If I have panic attacks, that's not a best day, but I've been getting better with it. So it's okay. I'm okay with dealing with the stuff that Maria has. I know that I did not get the short end of the stick. Okay, so it's a long journey that we have fun with, because anyone who's a Jacob personality likes to sit in their brain. And like, ooh, I have thoughts today. Wow, I have breath. Oh, look, this is also why for divine feminine, all of spirituality stuff, I was wondering, Every time I did some yoga meditation, I'm like, this is so easy. Why are people making such a big deal out of it? I don't understand. And now I know that's why it's easy for your host and mentor if you become a one-to-one or the master class or come to the spiritual retreat. I love life. I love thinking. I love using my brain. I would sit in silence as a kid. Now I know completely why I have a relationship with silence. Is because I'm like, woohoo, Maria gets to do some stuff today. So with that being said, let me finish up with our topic because I do know I had a point to make. I'm just needing to remember which one was it. Wow. We'll do the energy shift. This is what it is. So, with that being said, let me let you see how beautiful. I love this. I love my cards. Ah, I can't wait for my new setup. Okay. I love that we have a group of human love narrative people. It's so nice. And so you experience true love, bliss, delight, and consistent enlightenment in the mind, heart, and body of you every 24 hours that you're gifted. That Zen master, man, Zen master, you really need to work with your brain because seriously, love is a constant. It's unconditional and present when you are yourself. And I have been blessed. You know what I know more than anything? I love my oversoul. I've always known. Oh, there you go. I got it back. So here is why science keeps a feminine in a couple of areas. The Fibonacci brain of mine, this divine feminine, because we will consistently know when we are near those narrow consciousness concepts, because there will be a venomous tooth somewhere from the squirrel from Cusco land, which will basically state something along the lines of human suck, Maria. There's evil out there. And that's like, no, I came to the arrival of the awareness that there isn't. Me. I'm talking to you as this person host right now, but mystic. So with that, when I have heard of people talking about the oversoul as energy vampires and dark auras, you're a mystic. You're telling me you have clairs. Did you not hear the word energy and we're all the same? Okay, so the minute that you are in my ears, I can tell you think you're doing something special. By being a mystic, you haven't recognized we're all part of the same energy. There's a lack of awareness of yourself somewhere and the fact of what you're speaking and feeling. There's a disconnect. So when you accuse people from my oversoul of being this evil word, which doesn't exist in my life or plane, because evil I contemplate again, and suffering doesn't equal evil. It equals unresolved trauma that needs a therapist. Sciences gives me explanations. Patrick McNamara gives me proof, and I'm not a flat earther. And I don't have answers to everything within the spectrum of spirituality of Akash. But the point of a divine feminine is we don't give a shit about proving shit. This is the one thing, if you're part of anything conscious and you're going to think, I want to prove the twin flame thing. Let me prove. Let me prove that spirituality is true. Is the adaptive child who doesn't know of their own sense of self-worth. Because that's exactly what the left mode of your brain does. It breaks things down until it can prove it. You're not using your right mode. You're not using that which is connected, by the way, to the body, to up, and to all in a very specific way. Again, there are not rules. The adaptive child will want to prove their right, control the partner, or control the situation. They will have unbridled self-expression, retaliation, withdrawal. Anytime I'm seeing somebody want to bring me full circle to whatever they want to tell me, I got a Cusco in town. Let me hear you, 3-year-old. What do you got? Sure, anything you say. The reason people that are good observers notice that I have more to say, and there's only one human being on the face of this planet so far at my 44 years of age that has actually and actively been interested in what contemplative stuff goes on in here. In fact, my answer to the, hey, but I can see that you think things, my response was, I don't think you want to know what I have to say. Why? Because most people aren't interested in an intellectually stimulating conversation. They're interested in proving they're right. I don't give a shit if you're right. That's not why I'm in the conversation. I actively have nothing to prove to you. The divine feminine is an inner child who says, I just want to have a chit chat. Doesn't anybody know how to have fun in life? I don't understand. And that's one of those equations that It's energy, dark matter, dark energy. Sciences keeps me grounded. When people have accused anyone of our lovely energetics tribe of being evil, I'm like, you forget where you come from. I think you didn't hear what came out of your mouth. You're part of the same energy. Don't you know about this balance of energetic? So I'm trying to explain to you, lovely viewers and listeners, this balance. I don't like to give it words because that's the point of where people get lost. I'm going to use the smart human beings who are academics who are shared. There's not inherently good or evil in a human being. You learn attachment trauma information, the updated version, not the ignorant human beings, you'll understand exactly what I'm sharing with you right now because I'm not making it up. The aspect of spirituality, you trying to prove it tells me, person of faith, you don't know what spirituality or faith are. The fact that you're trying to prove something that's invisible is just as ridiculous as the scientist people who are trying to use AI to want to prove that reality is not real, but those scientist people, they are just as, so I'm not in the, I'm the pseudoscience lady. The scientist people, they look at those people like, okay, what's going on? Are you really going to do this? So my point being is 97%, like my lovely Dr. Daniel Siegel informed me, of what is out there is invisible, unavailable, and mystics have the capacity to tap into the sphere. That's because we're one end of the spectrum. Sciences also has the capacity to tap into the sphere, but they do it differently. And so sciences looks for data, which is why we got some of them thinking they know everything. At the same time, when I found out that there's a lot of aspects that get constructed by a instrument, well, of course, we have sciences wanting to prove with AI or disprove reality, whatever. So, to stay grounded, biology, cells, life. It is a cycle. It has a beginning and it has an end. And us as humans have secondary consciousness. And that means we're aware actively. Unlike animals and anything that is part of our lovely animal kingdom, which has primary consciousness alone, they're not actively aware of their own body. And then that they will actively at some point or another die. Okay, we are. Okay, so it's called a dilemma for the existential psychologist. For a person like me, no, it's called a condition, which is why the inner growth mindset supports your human condition. So people who want to do thoughts and emotions come to HP, and then they do things and they're happy about it. Versus, I don't want to do life, anything. I don't want. Okay, so the feminine knows of no part of our oversoul being this bad. And it's personal. It's personal when people touch our oversoul. So I'm getting into a bit of a storytelling moment as a mystic, okay? And I integrated all science and spirituality. I'm a divine feminine. Just don't use divinity as God thing. No. Divine feminine, because there's differences that I'm going to use in my words, but they don't mean something solidified. I'm going to keep on trying to make sure you understand. I use words Maria's way. Divine feminine I am, and that's my direct relationship with pure consciousness. I have my divine masculines, and in fact, I know who they are, between twin flames and soulmates. I don't need a guide. I never did. Sadhguru came around. I'm honored to have him. Jesus was my guide, still is my guide, so is God. Sadhguru is a bonus. Sciences are actively what have made me a better masculine in my head, because they gave me words to explain to you why it's easy for me to be myself, and you can be here too. And why anyone who says I don't want to, well, you want to then go to therapy so you can learn to self-regulate effectively in your human being body, because it's wanting to return home to what it was supposed to begin with in the first place, which is a securely attached, restorative embodiment, self-aware person. That was a very basic breakdown, and that's that. And back to the story. When I got clairs, I knew that some people would not see me as a person of what my faith is, what I grew up with. In fact, there's still people who say, you can't talk about da-da-da because you don't. So the spirituality, Christian human beings know what I'm talking about. Then let's bring in mysticism and those spiritual gifts, and spirituality and science is all the same. They go together. The only people who don't understand it are the same people who are not here. I've had interactions with them. They believe in evil and good, so they can go and be with those people. I'm trying to explain to you, no inherently good, no inherently evil. There's you're human, I'm a human, and then we got a big group, and then we got our past, and then we got our present. And if you don't know how to use your prefrontal cortex, I got a 3-year-old with a shame button. who falls for the 7 to 14 charming and can be manipulated by anyone as long as they give them what they want. This is why no one that is wearing a cape, eventually I'm going to notice your cape. Now I'm going to know you're a person who actively doesn't know what you're talking about. By the time I'm done observing you, I'll know your pattern. And that's not because I'm going to want to engage with it. No, just going to know when you get moody, this is what you're going to do. When you don't get moody, then that's it. I'm going to notice how you're nice to be around, and when you're not nice to be around, that I'm going to leave it alone. It's not personal. True spirituality begins when you know it's not personal. I learned as a teenager, no, it's not. No. So when I've had people interpret energy vampires, dark auras in different types of conversations, because I've met spiritual bypassers immediately. This was prior to having all the attachment trauma information, but knowing, don't insult my divine masculines. Because see, that's where it's personal, because as a feminine, again, this is mine. And so this is that nurturer that a divine feminine will be able to know requires the divine masculine who can balance us when we get into too much of our Kali mode, is how I'm interpreting this. If you have questions, tell me, but I'm talking to you like my community, because I have a buttload of podcasts, and I know my regular podcast listeners come here and they follow what I'm talking about. So Kali gets out of whack. This is a story I learned from Sadhguru, and she actively knocks out Shiva, kills Shiva in this moment, because she's just trying to protect life. Remember that I connect you, the life of you is your inner child. So it's once you're home to your whole self that your life, you, the self of you, is here with me. Use your human name. That's why, as Sadhguru shares, when you overflow with humanity, divinity has to descend. I'm going to give you its integrated brain, restorative embodiment self. It's a human being with a mental, emotional, physical, mature, equanimous stance, so you have no ill will. You don't have triggers. If you're still working on them, you're still working on it. But essentially, every day you can wake up more energized, and you work with your emotions, with your herd. That's called life. So again, love is a constant, and love is unconditional and present when you are able to be yourself. That's when you're divine feminine, you're divine masculine, you're feminine. You're here, and you're aware, and you're actively living with us as a person who is also known as somatic empath, so Pacha. And so yes, it's personal, and it was very personal as the people out there in the 4D land, is what I'm going to say, kept on insulting masculines of an oversoul, one, creating differentiation, meaning differences, not in a way of differentiations of the self, but no, saying we're the better group, they're the not good group. Okay, so they began with this, we know more because we have clairs, we feel more because we have clairs, we this more. So everybody who was, and still who is spiritual, I'm more sensitive than you, I'm more this, so it became this whole teenage competition. And so I'm beginning to just notice this consistent, I have gold in my heart with a bunch of scars because I'm doing life more than another person, than another group of people, might add. And that is the moment for me of where I just began disengaging from all conversations, because mantles of Elsa's journey are completely egoic human beings who need to understand what they're saying, which is they're insulting their brothers and sisters by comparing themselves. They're in a very bad Cain and Abel story, which is consistently on a roll, and I don't want to participate because you're not a feminine, you're not even a masculine, you're not a mystic in any way, shape, or form in my plane. You keep on talking like a teenager who's dramatic in high school and who doesn't hear themselves talking about one group not deserving something and another group deserving something, and I'm just tired of hearing you actively disrespect a bunch of people who, by the way, are actively just as hurt as you are. And so you got two ends of a spectrum. When you're a divine feminine, you can see the self and other, which is why, Jacob, I ain't taking sides. I'm going to actively remove myself from the situation. How? By choosing to allow the 3-year-old to share their suffering so they can get over with the little whining. They're going to do it again tomorrow. It's a karma wheel. It's not something that my ears are actively going to recognize as something good or bad, because it's the chosen subjective reality that the person is having when they're choosing not to learn to self-regulate. At a certain point, you self-soothe, you self-regulate, you get out of the human suffering narrative. or you don't. And that's where we have groups of people. But you don't insult people that are choosing to stay within whatever spectrum they are, which is what those feminines with clairs, which are spiritual bypassers and mantles of mental health, and they fit the codependent bill. Martyrs, superiors, blamers. They all on Elsa's journey fit that, because they think they can tell someone else what to do. So with clairs, they think that they know more than masculines. A divine feminine will know that's a bullshit. What you just said is a complete contradiction to what you are meant to be, nurturer. So you're not meant to get out of sorts like Kali. That's why Shiva is important. And then Krishna Lila comes in, which is our social engagement system, how I'm translating it to you, which is my mind with my left and my right, in my mindfulness brain with my mindsight brain, and then my mindset with this inner growth that we do here. And I get to deal with those two situations, my human condition, I like and I don't like, and I don't project it at you. And so, yes, any of that which would move into someone is doing a bad thing. So the people who believe in dark magic, negative magic, black magic, whatever they call it, which makes me laugh today. Yeah, it's for another one because this one's becoming extended. What I can tell you, I have some stories for that one. The people who are in the 4D collective, they continue to believe in this. So they will continue to experience what they believe in. The 5D collective, it's called Christ consciousness for a reason. So we know about unconditional love and pure consciousness. We know how to navigate what is a life of meaning and connection beyond the solo self. And that's called, it's an energetic sphere. It's not magic one. It's not magic. That's another thing. The child uses the word magic. And then you actively will move out of the illusion of magic. I remember when that happened. I laughed at myself. It was very fascinating. I also cursed. Oh, it was hilarious. So it lasted like 10 seconds. But I knew what was happening as it was happening. And Patrick McNamara, he's the one who describes really well this decentralization of the self and the religious self and stuff like that. So he has a way he describes to you the technical aspect of how your embodied brain works. And then with lovely Dr. Daniel Siegel, I know all about integration of the brain. So, you know, those new neural receptors that form, it takes 6 to 7 weeks for them to form. And then the myelin has to lay down. And then your little wonky neuroscientists that are really awesome at explaining the flow state, they share with us how selflessness, timelessness, effortlessness, and then richness are what happen. I know all about the effortlessness and then moving into richness. And so your light body, light body, light body, then maybe another light body, rainbow body. And then you expand another 2 or 3 bodies, and then you just don't notice it anymore because now you are completely mastered. You're mastered in mental and physical planes. I'm an Akashic record reader. And so by the time you're mastering your physical plane, that's where you will be in your own way here, where I'm at. In fact, I'm actively aware of the biology being that which is physical mastery for me, as I explain it to you. And the part about what divine masculine, though divine masculines are awakened, or any masculine, I guess I'm going to equate it this way, are awakened by their twin flame or twin flames or soulmates. If they move into their wholeness, they will become a person at some point, shape, or form, integrated with restorative embodiment. They will be unconditionally loving. They know that forgiveness is not about doing something special, but that people have trauma and that, you know, you get to choose, again, if you're going to be a member of our society, the way that is of a decent human being. And there's no ill will because you've done the work to become a healthy self-worth woman, man, or they. It's a really fun journey, by the way. And then once you settle in, you're not done because you get to support each other to do this. But that's with those of us who do mindfulness and mindsight, and again, mindset practices. And then you enjoy Akashic record readings, tarot, yoga. You enjoy Reiki sessions. So you still enjoy all of that, which you see out there. But by being a person who embodies your pure consciousness state. This is, everyone has a different journey. So all I can tell you is you'll notice, because every day as you get up, as you go through life, you become more energized and you have more enjoyment with people, and your love is a constant. It's unconditional. Again, it's present, and you are yourself. And so long story short, I learned how to disengage from talking about all mystic stuff except for with my community, because I'm here to support with spiritual self-help. So it's personal development alone for those who don't want to embrace the spirituality concepts and practices and Reiki or any of it. But mindfulness is part of that basic of mindset anyway. So you are going to be, in one way, shape, or form, you can call it secular. This is where a person who wants to embody their inner and outer well-being will understand. If you are a educated brain, if you are an ignorant brain who wants to do life with whatever parameters are yours of your in-group, then you're going to find your in-group to do it with. You can do it whatever, but the explanation of the restorative embodiment self, you can find that. The explanation of attachment trauma, you can find those aspects. They are still building data. The polyvagal theory doctor is still building his data because he cares to prove his polyvagal theory to support healthy minds, mental health. So you don't romanticize or demonize any of these subject matters when you care to help people to be their self. Life coaches, mental coaches, any of those of us who are over here. Oh, and FYI, there are a buttload of bad therapists out there. And anytime I'm finding myself in conversations, there's two groups. There's the ones who dislike, distrust completely all therapists. They will look at me and say, that's a bad bunch of people. And I will take up and say, look, they're not all bad. There's some that are good. But yes, you want to know how to pick them. Here, let me give you my 2 cents because I learned from them. Spirituality, mystics, same thing here. Okay, say, hey, let me give you a couple of pieces of information. If someone's getting you to call them master, please be aware. And, and then I'm going to go through and say, there's no good and evil. This is all energy. We're in the different planes. Some people, they don't understand it. They're still living with energy, vampires, dark aura. You don't need a spell now. Let me continue to expand to you what I'm trying to explain to you. And that's where, for the spirituality component, is a lot more in depth, because science is straightforward. I know exactly who to send them to when it comes to a good therapist, because I have my network: Dr. Daniel Siegel, Bezel Vanderkolk, Stephen Porges, Peter Levine, Janina Fisher, Gabor Mate, you name it, Dr. Albert Wong, Sue Martin. I got all these beautiful, amazing therapists, but they too know, Bethany and Ruth Lanius, that there's bad therapists. So we have a situation where there's bad therapists who do not help people to want to go get healing. Then you get to watch other therapists who talk about how they get trained. I was watching this lady talk about how she was learning in her therapy years, and they told them actively to try and not diagnose BPD, something like that. I was like, whoa. No, I already knew that because I'm taking good course material with good therapists. So there's a bunch of things that are not in favor of supporting active human beings who need good therapists. So, and the fact that you have therapists who have dissociative identity disorder and are not cured. That is not in my book. And a person knowing this makes me less likely to even want to bother trying to get to therapists who you pay a whole buttload of money. Spiritual bypassers know better. This is why it's not an in and out group. We have professionals who are not actively, mentally, emotionally, and physically mature to the extent of being able to help people to get into their active mental health parameters. We also have people who are in need of it who say, I don't want that because I had a bad experience. I don't want that because I had a bad experience. And then when they hear from those of us who are in between, they will say, I find it hard to believe, Maria, that my first 3 years said, yeah, it's we can only do what we can do, which is share conversations, have, again, there's in the 5D spectrum, no in or out group. It's we care about each other. So mental health, it's something you take seriously. Mental hygiene, same thing goes. People that are people who are mature, we don't go telling people what to do, but we will share information. When mystics are in town, if they're not true mystics, I will know who they are because I had enough experiences. When I have sciences, I'll know if they're not true sciences because I will have had enough experiences. Why? Because I'm a Pacha personally as a divine feminine, and any human being who's an inner child adult will know exactly when to be quiet. Oh, it's not because we don't have stuff to say. It's because we want to leave. And we have been taught, if you can't say something nice, say nothing. So you be polite, be a good girl, be quiet. No, make sure you're mindfully listening because otherwise you're being disrespectful because we're all nervous systems. Pay attention. Oh, wait, what was it again? That's right. We are all part of the same energy. Hey, Krishna Leela, what's up? Oh, look. Yeah, you know what? It's true. I would never, ever, ever be able to think that when I'm having such a great time. Oh, and that keeps going, by the way. So we learn actively how to be interested in our brothers and sisters because really, I would not be able to think about any stuff. Oh, and I'm also a stupid lady, by the way, a lot of times, which is true. I actively don't understand something. I know when it's happening and my brain's gone blank and I'm like, I don't. And then I notice the ones who I can ask, and then the ones who they get in their pissy pants, and I still ask anyways. And if they get pissy, it's okay. I don't take it personally because I know it's a stupid question, but I still want to know. Can you tell me, please? I want to know. I want to know. It's okay if you answer me bad. I still want to know. That's why I have no shame button. See, this is this is what an inner child adult does. So as we close on out, let me share with you how Divine Feminine learns to not disengage from believing in oneself. And this is where some of you are here, some of you can get here. And that's what our full moon is going to be. Amazing full moon for the 5D mystics and the 5D people. Come on over. Let's have fun. Pachas of the world. Cuscos, we get to pinpoint them and tease them together. Hey, they tease us all the time. I'm not going to feel bad. But we're going to try and do it very respectfully, to the best of our ability. Because remember, we don't actively know. They're going to be like, no, they're making fun of us. We're going to go point fingers at the 5D collective. So believe in yourself to the depths of your being. Nourish the talents. Your spirit is free. Know in your heart when the going gets slow that your faith in yourself will continue to grow. Don't forfeit ambition when others may doubt. It is your life to live. You must live it throughout. Learn from your errors. Don't dwell in the past. Never withdraw from a world that is vast. Believe in yourself, find the best that is you, let your spirit prevail, steer a course that is true. And this is by Bruce B. Wilmer. I've had this since I was a teenager. The year that it was made, where is it? Hold on, give me a second. It was somewhere at some point. Shit. I don't know. I don't know where it is. 1985, 1990. So, it's one of the many aspects or poems that I've kept with me. And that did, as a teenager, I said, yep, this is me. I don't feel inadequate with those people. They're doing all this stupid stuff, and they're not kind. I'm going to build my own herd, and that's how we do it. So this is how we do it. This is also why Divine Feminine, we don't say no to people. We say welcome, and then we say no, not that, not that. And then if they are okay with us, and we're okay with them, we get to keep playing mermaid and snow people and all that. I'm Ariel. I got a tail. Come on over. Woo-woo spiritual science lady. Pseudoscience. Not science. Okay. And last thing but not least, again, the disconnect for any mystic in the book of a 5D mystic is the minute you talk about my brothers and sisters as energy vampires, dark auras, you're not a mystic yet. You don't know what it means to have a balance of matter. And you don't understand because you refuse to hear we're one big ball of energy, which means there's not good or evil in this way that you are actively bringing to me when you're pointing a finger at another side and saying they are all not having a rough time in life as much as I am, or they are all, okay, so that pointing tells me you don't hear that your 1-year-old and your 3-year-old are comparing yourselves in a way of being emotionally charged. 14-month-old, why are you being hostile? Okay, so again, your emotions are always here with your thoughts. And as you become the owner of yourself, you are then going to be the inner child adult and not say my thoughts and emotions are irrefutable facts, but be mindfully aware, mindfully listen. You're now a differentiated self who's saying within your own Jacob personality, this lovely rabbi, as he shares, it's the objective. So you're not scanning self and others. You have an integrated brain. Again, your default mode network is downregulated. The left and right mode, they work like this together. That's what the machines show when you get scanned and have an integrated brain. You're a conduit and you're actively a conductor because your pure consciousness is you as an unconditionally loving, restorative embodiment, self-aware, accountable, regulating, equanimous, securely attached, functional adult human being. Come at IHP to get here, but it's only if you're going to want to do the 2 hands and 2 feet. You wake up and you do it. And that's with panic attacks, tummy ache, with the world, whatever's going on. You actively wake up with your secondary human consciousness. Say, wow, I woke up. I'm blessed. I got to share today. It's simple. It's that simple. I'm mortal. I got up. My loved ones got up. Wow. I'm so lucky. I get to spend the life. If you have a life partner, one or two or however many, monoamory, polyamory, you actively say, I'm intellectually and mentally and emotionally stimulated by those who are around me. I savor within me. It's not something out in the air. Enlightenment, soul age group, and it is not a flat line. It is not a flat line. That Zen master really needs to get going with his emotions, and anyone who still has laundry, because owning your 1 year old is what I'm sharing with you, is the most amazing of gifts. Owning your 3 year old, again, I'm here because my inner child didn't have rupture from my restorative embodiment self aware person to my child, because I got to be all my little child self without ever being shamed with those emotions. And when it came time to stand up and say, I want to be Maria, I did it as a 3 year old and a 4 year old and a 5 year old and an 8 year old. And I have a person who explained to me, different doesn't mean defective. That's the other part. I got held with equanimity. Different means different. That's all this means. It's a neutral word. So when you know different doesn't mean better or worse, you also know how to accept you have weaknesses and strengths. I know I have weaknesses. I'm not the best of anything. I know how to do some things, and I'm a member of a herd, so I'll be able to bring to you this and do the best I can here. Give me a kilometer, I won't do good with it. Don't give me that. No, don't make me try to build something. It's gonna be hard. I don't want to. Let me write. Let me clean. I know what I'll do. I know what my brain is gonna actively be easy doing. Okay, so it's part of healthy self-worth. Looking forward to hearing from you all. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for tuning in. We'll have some more channeled guidance and messages and this type of chit chat as we get closer and closer to our full moon. In the meantime, have a great day.